Earlier this week, HMS Queen Elizabeth, the largest aircraft carrier ever built for the Royal Navy, began sea trials. The Queen Elizabeth class represents a massive leap forward for the Royal Navy, and the success or failure of the class will structure British sea power for the rest of the 21st century. Over a century ago, a different class of ships helped transform the Royal Navy. The Queen Elizabeth class fast battleships. The Queen Elizabeths represented a leap forward in battleship design almost equivalent in degree to that of HMS Dreadnought. After the construction of Iron Duke, the British Admiralty decided to pursue a class of ships that would be larger, more heavily armed and faster than any predecessor or any foreign competitor. First Lord of the Admiralty Winston Churchill pushed the development of a 15-inch gun, capable of outdistancing the weapons carried by American, Japanese and especially German battleships. The bigger guns gave the cues a broadside that was heavier and had more penetrative capability than the preceding Iron Dukes. In spite of carrying one less turret, the initial design provided for an armament of 10 15-inch guns in 5 twin turrets, but the Admiralty decided to sacrifice one turret in favor of a higher speed. This decision would be critical for the future of the class. Perhaps of greatest consequence, the study by Jackie Fisher suggested that oil propulsion would be both possible and desirable. Oil was less labor-intensive as a fuel than coal, and did not require the employment of a large number of stokers to maintain speed, while human endurance and difficulties associated with the transportation of coal around the ship had limited the duration at which a ship could maintain its highest speed. Oil could be transported automatically and stored more efficiently. Oil produced less smoke, helping the ship avoid engagements and perform better during combat. Smoke tended to obscure firing positions. Finally, oil burned more efficiently, allowing a higher speed. This higher speed put Queen Elizabeth in between battle cruisers and traditional battleships. Queen Elizabeth entered service in January 1915. It displaced roughly 28,000 tons, carried 8 15-inch guns in 4 twin turrets, and could make 23 knots. The class, initially expected to include 3 ships and a battle cruiser counterpart, was eventually expanded to 5 by the cancellation of the battle cruiser and the offer of funds for an additional ship by the colony of Malaya. An offer of 3 more ships by Canada was narrowly rejected, due to Canada's insistence on providing crews for the ships. The British advantage over Germany in the North Sea was sufficiently great that Queen Elizabeth could be spared for other duties. Its first action was as part of an assault on the Dardanelles. Queen Elizabeth bombarded shore fortresses and supported the March 18, 1915 attempt to force the Straits. Mines and shore defenses turned back the combined British and French attack, and Queen Elizabeth was withdrawn for fear of loss. On May 12 it joined the 5th Battle Squadron, initially attached to the Grand Fleet and later to ADM David Beatty's battle cruiser squadron. Queen Elizabeth missed the Battle of Jutland while in dry dock for minor repairs and maintenance. Bitter recrimination after the Battle of Jutland led to the promotion of Admiral Jellicoe and the assignment of ADM David Beatty to the command of the Grand Fleet. Beatty initially used HMS Iron Duke as his flagship, but the crew, which had quite liked Admiral Jellicoe, apparently demonstrated a sullen and resentful attitude towards Beatty. In early 1917, Beatty transferred his flag to the newer, larger, and faster Queen Elizabeth. The only significant action that Queen Elizabeth engaged in was the escort of the German High Seas Fleet to Scapa Flow. At the end of the war, Queen Elizabeth served as the flagship of the Atlantic Fleet until 1924, and as flagship of the Mediterranean Fleet for several years after that. Although Queen Elizabeth remained an impressive ship, changes in naval warfare had revealed problems with the original design. In the late 1930s, it underwent an extensive reconstruction that replaced its superstructure, improved its horizontal and underwater protection, and fit a more modern anti-aircraft armament designed to extend its service life by 15 years. The reconstruction helped remedy the ship's most serious problems, while retaining the high design speed. This speed meant that it remained the more useful ship in World War II than the slow Revenge-class battleships. More than any of the American Standard-type battleships, the reconstruction kept Queen Elizabeth out of World War II until May 1941. Upon its return to service, Queen Elizabeth posted to the Mediterranean Fleet. The Italian fleet had essentially given up major operations by the time of Queen Elizabeth's arrival. But in December 1941 a group of Italian frogmen infiltrated Alexandria harbor and attached mines to Queen Elizabeth and its sister Valiant. The mines exploded, sinking both ships in shallow water. The British raised Queen Elizabeth and conducted spot repairs, but found it necessary to dispatch the ship to Norfolk, Virginia in September 1942. Repairs were completed there, and, as the impending surrender of Italy had made the Mediterranean fleet irrelevant, Queen Elizabeth headed towards the Pacific.